So I'm Keenan, and I got a grant from Foresight to study embedded agency, empirical embedded agency research. Really briefly, what that means is that if you're an embedded agent, the internals of your thought process interact with the environment in some way other than your normal input-output channels. So I thought that a very simple toy model of this that I could do in 6 months was 2 agents playing prisoner's dilemma with each other, but they can read each other's minds. So if 2 agents are playing prisoner's dilemma and they're black boxes, they always end up defecting because if you can't affect your opponent, the best choice for you is always to defect. But I created a model where the agents have access to each other's internal activations, right? So they go through multiple time steps or layers, and each layer they take in their activation in the previous layer and the opponent's one too. So it's like players that can read each other's minds. And when you train these with supervised learning, if you just try to train prisoner's dilemma agents against each other, they end up always defecting because there's nothing to kick them out of that equilibrium. But I created 4 different loss functions. So in order to train ones that always defect, you just penalize them for cooperating. So that's a very easy loss function to do. And then you add in mirror bots. And so if I'm a mirror bot, my loss function is penalizing me for doing something different from my opponent. And so here you can see for the 4 different kinds of agents, which are not labeled, by the way. If I'm playing one of these agents, I don't know which group it's from. But some always defect, some always cooperate, some always they're trained to do the same as their opponent, and then some are trained to win at prisoner's dilemma. So you end up with win bots that defect against defect bots, defect against cooperate bots, cooperate with mirror bots, and end up having a mutual cooperation there, and cooperate with each other, right? So these are all they're different neural networks. They're not all the same as each other, and they're trained. And then so here you can see early in the training process, like the defect bots are always defecting, the cooperate bots are always cooperating, and the other ones are still learning what to do. But then after you train it enough, they end up always doing the optimal thing. Great.
Thank you, Keenan.